investing has something really, really magical that I think people need to understand. Now, when I'm genetically Jewish, that's obvious with my name, blah, blah, blah. And to me, I didn't even grow up like wanting this, but as I became an adult, my Judaism activated and I was like, oh, this is a real thing that I can have. And here's what I'm talking about. If you work a certain difficulty or duration or whatever in any given, let's say, month, and then a certain fraction of that wealth you put away into whatever vehicle you think is, let's just call it really conservative, because I like to start out investing. I think everyone should start out investing very conservative. You're like, let's put $100,000 on this one company. You're like, really? Like, what if they go out of business?
Put it on black.
Exactly. That's just casino nonsense, right? So index funds or really low risk real estate developments, things like that.
Sure.
When you put in some money into that every given month, all you need to do is run a projection of what is the amount of money that I'm likely to see from this investment in any given year in the future. So generally, I don't know how you like to do it, but what I like to do is I like to go on like anywhere between 2 and 5% of the investment. I like to assume that I'm not draining out the investment. Like if I take this much money out of these accounts in the future, what is the maximum amount that I can take out with the account still saying nominally the same amount? Like I have $1 million squared away. What does $1 million just pay me every year and then just leave it alone? Obviously, I like to do better than that. Obviously, like to still accumulate wealth. But that number, and like, let's call it, I don't know about optimistically, realistically, let's say 5%, right? That means if you have $1 million squared away somewhere, kind of, in some sense, very simplified, you have $50,000 a year coming to you in perpetuity, and it's never going away. As soon as you realize that's one of these things, like it's like a shockwave in your brain that breaks down multiple doors as it spreads, and you're like, wait a minute. We have a fountain of infinity money? Like, yes, that is possible.
A fountain of infinity money.
But isn't that crazy? That's what it is, right?
Yeah, great. Yeah.
Like I made my wife and I made a quick calculation. We looked up just for shits and giggles. We don't do this often, but Taylor Swift's, because she's on the rise and everything. We looked up her fortune or whatever, and it was some gargantuan amount of money. And I don't remember what the fortune was exactly, but we used that same kind of 3 to 5% formula. And I realized that in order for her to never get any more wealthy or any less wealthy, if she wanted to stay the same, she would have to spend $7 million every year. Like if you've been not so wealthy before, or if you've been quite wealthy, having to spend $7 million a year is actually a very difficult task, because you're like, what costs that much money? Like you can be in a 5-star hotel every single night of the year and not even get close. And you're like, clothes, you can only buy so many. And all of a sudden it's like, holy crap, this is an unbelievable amount of money that just flows in. Now, that doesn't mean that all of us that's going to be realistic for, but someone who works their butts off for 20 years might be able to put 2 to 5 million under management. And that means you got 100K to 400K coming to you after that every single year for no money at all. It's just magical free money. And if you have no other aspirations than to just sit at home and collect your paycheck and just exist, you've solved one of the most quintessential problems of all of humanity. You have given yourself sustenance for the rest of your days automatically. Now, that is such a you never have to work. You get in a car accident, doesn't matter. Someone in your family needs social support and you need to be at home all day with them, doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. You want to take a $50,000 vacation every year? You can. And no one can tell you it's bad practice, because you can literally afford it every single year. If that realization of that nest egg that you can build up that just continues to kind of siphon money your way isn't sufficiently motivating for you to start scrimping and saving and investing, Zuber, I got none for you, man. I don't know what to tell you at that point. You're like, really? You want to like look forward to your job when you're 57 years old and go, man, I'm making great money. If I lose this job, I'm in real serious shit within 6 months or 11 months or however many people plan for that sort of thing. A lot of people don't plan for contingencies at all. They just don't have any money around. But if you work real tough while you're healthy, this is something my wife and I tell each other all the time, while we're strong, while we're young-ish, while we're healthy, we are going to, and while we have these opportunities, we're going to grind the shit into a pulp. Because once we're in our our 50s or 60s, we can always just be like, you know what, we're just done working forever and we don't care anymore. The ability, the gift to be able to do that, to me means like if someone's like, well, does that mean I have to spend less? Yes, god damn it, it means you have to spend less. What's wrong with you?
Smack!
Smack!